Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we'll be talking to you about researching before you travel to London. So let's get started. The first thing you need to think about before you travel is the budgeting, flights, accommodation, and how many people are going with you. And I think that's really important in any travel planning. I actually think that planning for travel is literally half the fun. I think it's the best bit. So depending on your interest, I suggest you go on Tripadvisor for questions and answers regarding hotels, things to do, flights, accommodation, attractions, and Expedia and Go City. Those are the three main companies I usually use when I'm travel planning. So personally, the first thing I do when I'm traveling to any parts of the world is to plan your budget. Once you plan your budget, then think about when you want to go there. And when you want to go there, I think everyone knows that every season the prices go up and down, so you need to find out when the best time and the best deals are. They're the two main things that you need to think about when you're planning to go to London. I also partnered up with Tripadvisor, Expedia and Go City because they're the three main companies that I use when I'm travel planning, and they're the best websites really. You get the best deals, and you get lots of tips, questions and answers and everything like that. That's why they're the best. And if you go on my website, www.londontravelers.co.uk, and click on the Expedia, Tripadvisor and Go City link, and you book a hotel or flight or attractions with them, I get commission from them with no extra cost to you. So you'll be really supporting my website as well. And I could create more content, keep them up to date, and recommend you flights and accommodation. And if you do like to watch and read about London or any other parts of the UK, then yeah, you'll be really supporting me a lot. And also I've got itineraries as well. 1 day in London, 2 days in London, 3 days in London, 4 days in London. Yeah, so it will give you an idea on how long to take in that attraction, and how long to get there, and what kind of public transport to use, and whether it's better to walk it or take the bus, and the cost for using public transport and the etiquettes. You find lots of information there. Just click on a 4-day itinerary in London and it will take you to that content. So aside from that, let's get on with the rest of this video. The third thing to think about is to get a calendar for yourself, and in that calendar mark the dates that you're spending time in London, and create 2 must visit attractions and 2 wish list attractions, and from there you can either expand it or reduce it depending on how much time you have left. Having said that, most attractions in London are next to each other, so you don't have to use public transport, tubes or bus. You can just walk it. But even though they're next to each other, it doesn't mean that they're very close and quick to get to. For example, if you were to spend time in Hyde Park and Kensington Gardens, they're literally connected together, the two parts, but it takes literally 2 hours to walk around the two parks, so your feet will get tired. So that's something to keep in mind. Even though it's next to each other, it doesn't mean that it's close to get to. So it really depends on your feet, really. So aside from recommending you to go to my website, you can also buy two guidebooks that I can recommend to you: the Lonely Planet books on London and Rick Steves' London books. They're the best guidebooks to take with you. As for getting by and getting around London, I suggest you download the City Mapper app. That's a real-time transportation app that you can use to get from A to B, and it's literally simple to use. I use it all the time when I go to work, and even if I go to the local shopping centre, I use City Mapper because it will show you how long to wait for the bus and how long to wait for the tube. So for example, if you wanted to go to Buckingham Palace from your hotel, you type in the start destination, which is your hotel, and then you type the end destination, which is Buckingham Palace, and when you click on go, it will give you different options on how to get to Buckingham Palace, and the bus numbers and the tube lines, it's all there, and then how long to get there and whether it's better to just walk it. So it's really easy to use. So download the City Mapper app. Yeah. In terms of accommodation and its accessibility getting there from the airport, I suggest you stay in Victoria and London Bridge if you're coming from Gatwick. If you're coming from Heathrow, I suggest you stay in the Kensington area if you're coming by tube. But if you're coming by train, stay in the Paddington area. That's if you're coming from Heathrow as well. And lastly, the two websites that I recommend visiting are Visit London and Visit Britain if you're going on day trips from London. They're the two best websites to get an idea on what attractions to see and just general things to do, really. And yeah, that's it. And tomorrow I'll be talking to you about how to get around public transport using the tube, rail, buses and trams. Okay, then I'll see you in the next video. Bye.